And it brings up a very important, difficult conversation about mental health and how it impacts the impacts that can come from a major shooting like this.
You know, we want to expand on that by bringing on mental health expert Dr. Charryse Johnson. Dr. Johnson, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me as always.
Let's start here. What do you tell the kids? Because we know that there were a lot of high schoolers there at the shooting. If you're a parent this morning trying to deal with the aftermath of the shooting, how do you talk to your kid about what happened?
One of the things that you want to do is what you've mentioned. You want to make sure that you talk about it. You don't want to look at them and assume that just because they seem okay, that they're fine. Ask them, did they sleep well? How are they feeling? Did they have any dreams, or do they have any concerns about what's happening? And also help ensure them that they may not feel very safe right now. And if they have any information that would be helpful, to please share it.
Charryse, we're waking up today, and this is the reality of the world that we live in, okay? I mean, 4 of our 5 top stories today: Catawba County, Burke County, there was a shooting. Monroe, an officer was fired upon. A 7-year-old girl shot in Pageland. We had a shooting in Waxhaw last night. 8 people hurt in Colorado from hate crimes. Like, this is the reality of every day, okay? It's not just what we're talking about from Catawba County. How in the world do you wake up every day and you just want to keep the blinds closed and not go anywhere because you're trying to process everything? This is intense.
It is very intense. It is very overwhelming. And I believe that a lot of people are feeling it, even if they can't correlate exactly what it's to. I actually was having a conversation in another event with an organization, and people were talking about just not feeling safe, feeling uneasy because it's too much, too fast, too soon, which is a classic definition of trauma. So things I want people to pay attention to is, are you feeling any type of anxiety and panic? Are you feeling depressed? Is there any grief that you're experiencing? Or do you notice that you are dissociating, backing away from living and trying to escape and isolating, because we want to make sure that you're getting the help you need?
Well, when we focus on what happened in Catawba County specifically, there's still a lot of questions, Charryse, that we don't have the answers to and people in the community don't have the answers to. How can people best navigate the unknowns of not having the answers? Because I feel like that's something that we all look for in the aftermath of events like this.
Yes, when we don't know the answers, we focus on what we do know. We focus on the things that are certain in our lives. So that's when your daily routines and connecting with loved ones and people in your community that make you feel comfortable is important, so that you're reminded, I don't have all of the information here, but also living in constant fear and hypervigilance isn't ideal. What do I know about today? I know what I can choose. I know I'm surrounded by people that I love, or I can connect and be with people, and then paying attention to what they need and not trying to pick up answers from incorrect or inauthentic sources.
Charryse, I want to piggyback off of what Jason and Annie were kind of saying. If I'm a parent, you know, is there something I can do to not overreact, to say, you know what, you're not going to go out at all this summer? I just watched what happened in Catawba County. And then also, how do you talk to your kid if they're saying, I don't want to go outside anymore? I just watched my friends be involved in a mass shooting. How do you combat those 2 angles?
Yeah. So for the students or people who feel like they don't want to go out anymore, you give them the space to do that. You don't want to push them out faster than necessary. You validate. That's very understandable that you would feel that way. However, we do know that we can't stay in forever. Let's sit back for a few days and then work our way forward. And then for the parents who might want to overreact and feel like, I don't want you to go anywhere, the best thing to do, and we've been talking about it on QC News for years, is to really have a safety plan for your family. Let's talk about compromise. What does it look like? What are code words? When you go to a location, do you know where the exits are? Where should you park? Things that we wouldn't typically talk about, so that we arm our students or arm each other with as much information as we can about, here are some small ways I can try to keep myself safe just in case.
You know, Charryse, you are obviously the expert in this field. I don't feel like we are meant to live isolated. I mean, there's a reason why we have communities, both big and small, but my gosh, you walk to your mailbox, you probably don't even know your neighbors. What can we do, even just on our own street, to try to foster what a community is supposed to be like, so that when hard times come, we've got someone we can lean on? There's nothing that feels more isolated than being by yourself.
You're bringing up an excellent point. We have gotten away from the dynamic of getting to know your neighbors, and part of that is so many of us are transient, so we also don't stay in the same place very long. I do think it would be extremely beneficial, and we would feel safer if we knew the people on our street. Where most of us are in a place right now where we wouldn't know one car from the other. We're not waving, we're not conferring. So I think it's a great opportunity to go, you know what? I want to get out. I want to get to know the people that are there. Can we do something socially? Because that does help to make sure that if something is off or doesn't seem right, you're aware of it because you know what's familiar and who lives across from you.
Yeah, that's an incredible point. And Charryse, when we talk about kind of checking in with ourselves, you mentioned trauma, too much, too fast, too soon, but a lot of us can kind of become numb to a lot of these things that happen. So what are some questions that we can ask ourselves to say, hey, this really actually did impact me? Or what, again, to Julian's point, can parents look for in other people?
Yes. So you want to notice, what am I noticing about my thoughts? Are my thoughts healthy? Am I blunting out a lot of thoughts because I am trying to go numb and kind of distance myself? Also, numbing typically goes along with escape behavior. So are you finding that you're spending a lot of time in lower light, or you're spending a lot of time kind of zoned out on certain things? You also want to check with physical sensations. Am I feeling too much, or am I not feeling at all? For example, people who numb, there'll often be a situation that requires a reaction, and then they begin to notice, I'm not reacting at all. I don't have the capacity to even care about something I should care about, which is a real red flag.
Charryse, can you help put us in check in terms of mental health? I feel like it's getting worse in terms of the impacts we've seen from national events, current events. What are you hearing? What are you seeing from talking with other professionals in your industry? Are we at a point where it's worse than a couple of years ago, or where are we?
We're definitely at a point, from what I'm hearing, that it's worse than it was a couple of years ago. There are too many things that are constantly happening. It takes the body and the brain 6 to 12 weeks to process one traumatic event. You mentioned this morning that there are 6 or 7 different events that are happening all at the same time that we know of. We're not even talking about the ones that we don't know about. So it is a lot more difficult. It is a much more serious dynamic than ever before. It is something that we have to pay attention to, and never assume that when we see someone because they look well, that they are well.
Yeah, we are definitely all good at wearing a mask and covering up. Dr. Charryse Johnson, thank you as always for your time and helping us kind of at least start the process of unpacking and dealing with our emotions. And if you're watching, you're not alone. If you need to call and get help, then certainly do that. Charryse, thanks for your time today.
Thank you.